Some of you who are around my age, probably a lot of you, if not most of you, if not all of you, kind of think the same thing as me sometime, that I'm glad that I wasn't born in this generation. I'm really, really glad that I wasn't born in this generation, even though I'm getting older, going to be leaving this earth a lot quicker than people that were born in the last 20 years. Well, maybe not, because a lot of them are stupid, probably die early. But I am really glad that I wasn't born into this society that we have today. I really am. There I go again. I can't imagine how it's going to be 100 years from now. Honestly. I can't imagine. As bad as things have gotten, and I'm telling you what, and I know a lot of you would agree with me, that this nation is in for some serious judgment. Because our society has become like Sodom and Gomorrah. God will not let it go unpunished. Look at how many nations. I mean, it's pretty much been the same cycle with every empire, every kingdom that has existed. They rise to power, and then society starts becoming fat and lazy, enamored with entertainment. In fact, if you read, there's a 3-book series that I used to have, and it got ruined in a storage unit, got wet and just destroyed it, but it was called The Rise and Fall of the Roman Empire. And it listed a bunch of different reasons why the empire fell. And if you put it right alongside the United States, take each of those reasons and put it in the context of the United States, we're following the exact same scenario. And in fact, if you were to go back in time and look up every empire, every kingdom that rose to power and then fell, it's all been the same scenario. It's all been the same cycle. And we're in the same cycle that those other empires and kingdoms were in. I was watching a video yesterday. Yesterday morning. This is what set me off and why I decided to start this series. It may not be daily, but I'm going to try to make it daily, and it's going to be called My Daily Rant, because there's a lot of things that piss me off, and I'm going to talk about all of them. But I'm sure that a lot of you have the same attitude towards a lot of what's going on today. And those of you who have the same mentality as me, you're going to enjoy it. Those of you who have the opposite mentality of me, it's going to piss you off. And I don't care. Because nothing I do is going to be a hot take. All right, I don't do hot takes. Everything that I talk about is going to be my own personal opinion. And you may not agree with me, but good luck trying to change my mind. Because I am probably about the most stubborn person that I know. Now, I don't have a problem changing if someone can present facts or whatever. But when I know something to be true, and I'm not going to go against my convictions, I'm not going to go against the truth, you will never, ever change my mind once I know that I am right. And I'm not talking about subjectively right. I'm talking about objectively right. That I have the facts and the evidence and all that. You'll never change my mind once I have the truth. But anyway, so I was watching, I think it was ESPN, which I'm pretty much boycotting. The whole thing has become a joke. A bunch of woke announcers, and they got rid of all the conservative people, fired them all. Anybody that had any any conservative blood in them, they got rid of them. And now all that's left is a bunch of woke idiots. And so I'm not going to watch their content anymore. This was actually on YouTube, what I was watching. But it was talking about the Cleveland Indians, which I don't really follow baseball anymore. When I lived in Seattle, I used to follow the Mariners. I was an avid Mariner fan. Used to go to games all the time. That was back when you could get a ticket for $5. Try that now. But I was going to a lot of games. I started to really get into baseball. I've never been much of a baseball fan, to be honest with you. I never played. I played Little League, but I didn't play baseball in high school. I was just football and basketball was the only thing I was interested in. I did track and field when I was like in 8th grade. I did the high jump, but I found out that white men can't jump. No, actually, I could jump fairly well, but anyway, I was watching this video, and they were talking about the Cleveland Guardians. I'm like, who in the hell are the Cleveland Guardians? And come to realize they changed their name. I've always known them as the Cleveland Indians. And now they're the Cleveland Guardians. And that's just, I'm like, so I did a little bit of research, and I found out that the Cleveland Indians were founded in 1894. 1894, over 130 years, they were the Cleveland Indians. And now, with this woke society, this sensitive society, this feminized society that we're in today, everybody gets offended over the smallest thing. I mean, people can be so petty. Sorry, I was looking for I got a bunch of icons down on my taskbar, and I'm like, where did my browser go? Because I want to show you something here in a second. Anyway, when I saw that, I had no idea that they had changed their name. I knew that the Washington Redskins changed their name to Washington Commanders, which at the time pissed me off royally, that they kowtowed to these bunch of woke assholes. You know, if it was my team, I would refuse to change it. I would. How long have they been the Washington Redskins? For, decades. Decades. Cleveland Indians were the Cleveland Indians for over 130 years. And now all of a sudden they're now the Cleveland Guardians because we don't want to offend anybody. And that is one of the things, a couple of examples of people being petty. This is stuff that just popped into my head when I was thinking about this subject. My ex-wife and her mom, she was actually living with this guy. This is a lot of stuff I found out after we were married, all right? But she was living with this dude, and they had anyway, he dumped her, went after, somebody else, which I can't blame him. So anyway, he had bought her this Doberman, which she had when we got married, which she had never made mind. And when I saw how her parents did with their dogs, I think I told the story about when my sister was living in Seattle. My wife's parents were living in Seattle. They only lived like 4 blocks apart. Anyway, we went up there for Thanksgiving, and invited my sister and her husband at the time, invited them over, and their parents' min pins, which I call the terriers from hell. Like, they were, oh man. Anyway, I don't even want to get into that. But anyway, the turkey was up on the table. A lot of the food was up on the table. And these little shits were up there on the table. And they were letting them do it. And my sister and her husband were sitting there looking at me like, what the, WTF? Unbelievable. And of course, they were doing nothing about it. And I'm like, I do not want these dogs up here getting, maybe taking a bite out of the turkey or, whatever. And it's like, no, this ain't going to fly. I don't care. It wasn't my house, but I don't care. If I'm going to eat at that table, I do not want a bunch of dogs up there walking around the food. You know what I'm saying? So I went over to the table, I'm like, get out of there. Of course, they went scattering. And I was the only one that ever made a mine. And they loved me to death. That was really funny. Because they respected me. So anyway, that's how they did with their dogs. So anyway, my ex-wife, the W word, was living with this dude, and he had bought the Doberman. Brittany was the Doberman's name. And I never did like the dog. I mean, I did and I didn't. It was just, the dog was always, it was like really strong-willed, and, it didn't like to mind. Although what was funny, when somebody would come over to the house that it didn't know, it would sit right in front of me and protect me. And it would guard me. He didn't care about her. Or she, it was a she, didn't care about my wife. And so anyway, I keep distracting myself. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. You want to hear the whole stories. No, I'm trying to keep focused, Tanya-san. Focus. Concentrate. Wax on. Okay. So this dog, the boyfriend had bought the dog for her. And and the agreement was she was going to pay him back, right? That was the original agreement. So when they broke up, he said, he paid $250, which, you know what? I just don't believe in paying, for, this was, purebred Doberman. I'd rather get a dog like Copper. I got him at a shelter. Those are the dogs that I want. The ones that have been dumped off, or the ones that other people didn't want, to rescue them, And I'm not trying to be like a do-gooder or some hero or whatever by doing that, but I've just always been drawn to, rescuing the dogs that other people didn't want and prove that they're valuable. And Copper has turned out to be just an amazing, amazing dog. Totally amazing dog. I mean, he is a gem. He really is. But anyway, so, he said, I want you to pay me back for Brittany. So, and this shows where she got this petty attitude from, because this was her mom's idea. So what they did was they went to the bank and got $250 in pennies. But they didn't keep them in the roll. They broke them all apart, put them in a bucket, went to the guy's apartment and dumped them all out on his doorstep. She told me about that, and I'm like, I wish you'd told me that story before we got married. I mean, I can see breaking up, and I imagine a lot of us been in the same boat. We've been with somebody that dumped us. I've been there. A lot of you probably have too. I mean, it happens. It's just part of life. It's part of learning our life lessons or whatever. But you do learn from each experience. So if you get dumped 100 times, just think of the knowledge that you gain. So she dumped out all the pennies on his doorstep. And I'm thinking, how freaking petty. How petty. Some people are just petty. It's like, that's why I call Jeffy Poo a petty little bitch. All right. Yes, he's just a petty little bitch. Let me show you something here. All right. So these are my videos. Now, this one here, he hasn't got to yet. I'm sure he will. But starting down here, and look at this petty little bitch right here. 1 thumbs down. Gee, I wonder who did that. Oh, 1 thumbs down. Gee, wonder who did that. Next one. 1 thumbs down. Next one. 1 thumbs down. 1 thumbs down. 1 thumbs down. So, that song still rings true. Jeffy Poo is a petty little bitch, petty little bitch, petty little bitch. Jeffy Poo is a petty little bitch. He's a pussy, 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 pussy little bitch. Yeah. In that petty, in that childish. That's the funny thing is I've never thumbs down any of his videos ever. Never have. I have more class than that. But when it's been known to have any class. Anyway, let me get back to the subject at hand. So, we've got the Cleveland Guardians. You know what? I'm just getting so damn sick of people being such pussies, people being, so overly sensitive. You've got a team called the Indians. What if you had a team called the Honkies? I'd just laugh. I'd think it's funny. But the Crackers, the Cleveland Crackers. Actually, that sounds pretty catchy. That the Cleveland Crackers are now 10-0 since changing their name. Yeah, the Cleveland, the Washington White Boys, Washington Honkies. But that was one thing I told somebody at a coffee shop, and this is back when they were, still were the Washington Redskins. And people were pissing and moaning about it, and all this, and I said, what are they bitching about? And I said, if they put my face on the side of a helmet, I'd feel flattered. Seriously, man, it's like, cool, man, they got my face on the side of their helmet. So here, the Washington Redskins, now they're the Washington Commanders, because it's just amazing to me how people are everybody's just too overly sensitive. This woke generation that we're in, now I'm not racist by any means, but I also get tired of all the politically correct bullshit. We're having to change what people are called. We call them Indians. Now we got to call them Native Americans. And it's a funny thing. We've changed everything except for what white people are called, or white or Caucasian. It's like, don't call me a Caucasian. I don't want cock in my name. I know that was bad. Caucasian, Yeah, anyway. But it just drives me crazy. everybody is so freaking sensitive. Oh, you don't dare say anything about anybody. They get all, oh, and then it's all over Twitter and all over the internet and all over all this. It's like, y'all kiss my ass. You know what? I get tired of it. Well, you can't call them Negroes anymore. You can't call them black anymore. You got to call them African American. You know why? What's wrong with the other words? You know, but some idiots got to start pissing and moaning about it and say, don't call us this, call us this. Don't call us this, don't call us that. You know, it just drives me freaking crazy. And I'm not being racist when I say that. It's just, I am basically just saying that's how all of society is, regardless of the race. Everybody is just too damn sensitive. You know, you don't dare say anything against gays. You don't dare say anything against transsexuals or transgender or trans idiot, whatever they are. You know, I'm sorry. I believe that's kind of crap is perversion. The Bible plainly says it's an abomination. It's a perversion. I'm not going to kowtow to society just because they've thrown God out of the system. You know what? I'm still going to call a spade a spade. All right? I'm going to call it like it is. That's just the way it is. That's my view. I'm not going to apologize for it ever. But I'm just getting freaking sick of it. I mean, every time you turn around, somebody's bitching about this. Somebody's me tooing somebody, or, you know, just for saying hi. You know, I mean, really, it's like it's to the point now that if a guy wants to introduce himself to a woman, walks up to her and even talks to her, they start screaming foul. Unless it's some really hot dude or movie star or something like that, celebrity, then they're like, oh, hi. But if you're like just an ordinary guy and stuff like that, and you walk up to a woman and they just, you know, I walked up to, or I didn't walk up to her. There was a gal in the grocery store, and I was just happened to be going down the same aisle. And anyway, she was, you know, cute blonde. She was about 25 years old. And I'm trying to remember what it was I said to her now. It was pretty good. But anyway, I just, you know, said hi to her, and she goes, don't you think you're a little old to be talking to somebody my age? You know, I'm trying to think what my comeback was. I think it was something like, well, I'm just saying. I said, well, you know, my mom always taught me to, you know, be nice to ordinary girls or something like that. I think it was like that too. You know, I didn't say ugly girls, but I just said, yeah, my mom always taught me to be, you know, kind to, you know, ordinary girls. It's something along that line. I wish I could remember what exactly it was I said. But anyway, she just kind of stood there like, I just moseyed on. You know, it's like, you know, what the hell is wrong with saying hi to anybody? I wasn't hitting. Oh, no. That's what she said. She goes, this has been a couple of years ago now, so I'm trying to remember. She said, don't you think you're a little old to be hitting on someone my age? And I just looked at her and said, well, number one, don't flatter yourself. I wasn't hitting on you. I was just saying hi. Secondly, my mom always taught me to be kind to ordinary-looking girls, or something like that. Something like that. But anyway, I kind of knocked her off her high horse a little bit, and I just walked on. Then later, I saw her in the store, and she kind of looked at me and glared. I just smiled. It's like, howdy doody. Yeah. So, but it's ridiculous. It's just, our society has become so ridiculous, so overly sensitive. And basically, I call it the pussification or the feminization of society. Because, you know, men are now expected to be more sensitive and in touch with their, like I said yesterday, in touch with their feminine side. Well, number one, I ain't got no boobs. I don't even have man boobs. I got solid chest. And What was my point? Oh, yeah, I mean, they're trying to make us accept a lot of this perversion is mainstream to where now, if you say anything against gays, that's, or somebody can come beat the shit out of you, put you in the hospital, and it's like, oh, well, now if you're gay or trans or whatever, somebody beats the shit out of you, even though it may be for the same reason, they call it a hate crime. What a bunch of horse shit. You know what? If somebody now if they took some dude that was like a tranny, took him out back behind the alley and cut his balls off, now that might be able to be constituted a hate crime. There you'd have a little bit of evidence for it. But to me, that's just giving people preferential treatment that don't deserve it. Why? Everything's political now. Everything's political. You say anything against gays is political. If you say anything to LGBTQQQ, the alphabet gang, as people call them, you say anything about that, you're hating. No, I don't hate the people, but I do hate the movement. And I get so damn sick of the shit, gay, pride parades and Pride Day. Well, why in the hell would you praise something like that unless you're an absolute moron? It's perversion, But anyway, didn't really mean to get off on that, but to me, it's all part of it. People, it's like the feminist movement. I am against feminism 110%. I feel that a woman should be a woman, a lady should be a lady, and not try to be a man. And these feminists are always clamoring for equal rights. Okay, if you want totally equal rights, why don't we quit giving you the advantage in the courtroom in divorces? Quit giving you the house. Quit giving you the kids. You start paying alimony to him if you make more money. Yeah, that's when they're not quite as clamoring for equal rights when that kind of crap happens. How about you want total equality? Okay, how about when you go mouthing off to a man, he can punch you right in the mouth, deck you, knock you out. You want equal? See, here's the thing. They pick and choose, just like any other group. They pick and choose what they want and what they don't want, because a lot of these movements, what they don't want equal rights. They want superior rights. That's really what they want. They want the advantage in everything. They don't want equal rights. They want superior rights. And I don't know how I got off of that either, but I'm just saying whatever's coming to mind. It kind of falls along the same line of pettiness and wokeness and idiocy, basically what it is. But it's like I guess my point is, we've been trying to feminize society. Everything, it just pisses me off. It's like every time I see them make a new rule change in football, and even a lot of the coaches are like, pretty soon we're going to be playing flag football. All these new rule changes. Oh, and they say it's for player safety. Well, why don't they get rid of the field turf? People are blowing their knees out and stuff and put in natural grass like it used to be. We didn't have all those problems back when natural grass was in the field. So they're full of shit. Basically what it is, it's a feminization of sports. Basketball has been feminized. Football has been feminized. Baseball has been oh, now you can't shift. That's part of baseball strategy, but now, oh no, that's a disadvantage. I don't know. I still don't understand the rationale on that. Or you can't, because a lot of times if you got somebody who likes to pull the ball, let's say you've got you got a right-handed batter, and it tends to swing and pull the ball that direction. All right, so what they do is they shift in that direction. They shift. Well, now you can't do that. Are you serious? That has got to be one of the dumbest rules that I've ever seen. Where now they make it illegal to shift. You can't do it. Why? It's kind of like giving everybody a trophy, a participation trophy. You know what? I don't believe in giving participation trophies. No, I can't even say it right singing it. Participation trophy. Oh, you shouldn't get one. No, you shouldn't get a damn participation trophy. The trophy should go to the champion. Because, that's the way life is. They're teaching these kids that you don't even have to try, and you still get a trophy. See, and that's bad. That you're teaching them the wrong lessons. Not everybody wins. And you get out into the real world and try that. Let's see if you get rewarded. Let's see if you are lazy ass and see if you get $100,000 salary. No, it ain't gonna work. So, and the thing is, I know that when I was younger, first tried out for basketball, I got cut. And instead of whining about it, instead of having my parents go down and bitch at everybody and force them to put me on the team, what I did is I went to work. I started practicing my dribbling. I started taking 1,000 shots a day. And as a result, I became the best shooter on the team. I had a 93% free throw percentage. 93%. How many pro players have that? I think Steph Curry did once, but even he doesn't have a 93% free throw average. I did. So, I worked. I worked my ass off every day, all summer long. Actually, all winter long, too, because after, the basketball season ended, we used to go down to the gym. My uncle used to be the principal. And so he'd give me the keys to the gym. We go down and play pickup games in the gym, in the high school, high school gym where we played our games. And so, I was playing every day. And I worked my ass off. And I didn't whine about it, didn't cry about it. I mean, I was disappointed, yeah, when it happened. But I decided, you ain't going to cut my ass next year. You're not going to be able to cut my ass next year because I'm going to be too good. And I was. I improved probably over 100%, as far as what I was, when I tried out my first year, my freshman year, and what I was my sophomore year. So I was a completely different player. So, I just don't believe in, life is hard. It's even harder when you're stupid. But life is hard. Life's not easy. And the earlier that you learn that, the better off you start developing coping strategies to deal with life in general. So I don't, any social promotions where a kid can fail in every class and still get passed on to the next grade. They used to hold kids back. One of my neighbor kids that grew up across the street from me got held back. I think it was in first grade. He had to take first grade over. And his brother was a year younger than him. He ended up graduating with his brother because, he got held back. I know a couple of other people that got held back. I don't think they even do that. I really haven't paid that much attention, but the last I've heard, because I know one kid that he got an F in every class and he still got passed on to the next grade. So, things have changed. Society's just become soft. It's become just stupid. Everything's got to be politically correct. No, it doesn't. And I ain't going to be politically correct. No, ain't going to do it because I ain't going to do it. I believe in standing on your principles. I believe on standing on your convictions. And, and I was like this even when I was in high school. Peer pressure did not bother me. A lot of other kids that, do stuff, that was wrong. I'm not saying I was an angel by any means, but there were a lot of things that classmates did and they would ridicule me because I wouldn't do it. And I was like, oh, well, think what you want. Again, like I said, I'm stubborn. So they would try to get me to do things and I'd be like, nah, I ain't doing it. 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 Ain't. Hey, that's a new song. Ain't doing it. Ain't doing it. You can be ain't. Yeah. I just believe in doing the right thing. I believe in standing on what you believe. But make sure you're right in what you believe. Because I like I said, I'm stubborn, but if I don't know I'm 100% right on something and somebody presents another view and I'm like, yeah, they got a point. It may change my mind, it may not, but at least I'll, I do listen, unless it's something I know 100% that I know is true, then you can, then you're like Charlie Brown's teacher to me. Like some people come in the comments, whatever. So anyway, I just think that we've become so stupid, so woke, so sissified, so just stupid. I mean, it's stupid. People get upset over the dumbest things. They just do. They get upset over the dumbest things. And it's like, quit being petty. Don't be petty. Because all it does, when a person's petty, all it does is it shows your immaturity. It shows you don't have the ability to think. And it shows your true character. If you're a petty person, you have issues. You got to be, like they say, water off a duck's back. Sometimes somebody will say something that pisses me off, but most of the time, I just laugh. Like people come into the comments, I just laugh at it because y'all are stupid. Like my new series, people are stupid. Yeah, they are. Anyway, I could go on, but I think I've said enough for one video. Hopefully I've got my point across. Emphatically. Oh, can't say emphatically. It's got the word fat in it. Skinnyly. Yeah. It's like, now, if you're fat, this is going to piss you off, but that's the way it is. I used to be really fat too. I was up near 300 pounds. I think I might have told this story, but we got some pictures. This is back when we had just a regular camera and had pictures developed at Walmart. And I'm looking through these pictures, that my ex-wife, we were looking through them, and I'm like, I looked at this picture of this dude, and it's like a sideways profile. I'm like, I'm like, holy hell, who's this fat bastard? And my wife goes, that's you. And I'm like, and I look and was like, yeah, it was. Holy crap, I didn't realize I was that, And so that's enough of that. And so I started working out, and, because I was like right at 298, I think. I never got quite to 300, but, what's, 2 pounds, it's like, it could have been 300, then went to the bathroom and was down to 290. No. Oh, that's gross. I know. Deal with it. But, yeah, so it's like, oh man, I look like, that's horrible. Well, anyway, I got back down, and, I got back down to about 230 pounds, which is, about right for me, because then I'm a lean, mean, fighting machine. Remember the movie Stripes? I think it was John Candy when it was a lean, mean, fighting machine. But, yeah. So, you know what? It's like, I also told this story too, which I'll tell again. As there was this, when I was working at police department in Eastern Idaho, there was a girl that worked at the courthouse there, and she was hefty, very hefty. And she said, I got a thyroid problem. It's like, okay, well, and some people do. I mean, some people do have medical conditions or whatever that they just can't lose weight. My sister's like that. My one sister's like that. She eats like a bird, but she can't lose weight. And so anyway, this gal got a thyroid problem. Well, another officer, one of my best friend on the force, we stopped at this burger place one day, and they had these, I can't remember what they were called, but it was like a local mom and pop type thing, and they had these hamburgers that were like freaking huge, and they give you like a ton of fries. And so we went there, and we each ordered a hamburger and fries and went and sat at our table. And as we went walking by, the gal from the courthouse was sitting there. She had 3 hamburgers, 3 orders of fries. We got done with our meal, and she was still eating. Because we thought, well, there's 3 orders, maybe she must be some other people, maybe they're in the bathroom or whatever, and they just haven't joined her yet, right? So we're at our table and we're waiting, and we say, and we can see her from where we're at. So we're watching her, and she's eating all 3 burgers and all 3 orders of fries. So anyway, we got done, and she was still eating. And because she had just gotten her meal when we got there, she hadn't even taken a bite of anything yet. And so as we go walking by her, I looked at her and I go, man, that's one hell of a thyroid problem. And she turned beet red. It's like, yeah, stop the cap, as they say today. Quit fronting. Yeah, so yeah, thyroid problem. No, it's called lack of discipline. It's called gluttony. And so the people say, well, you shouldn't fat shame. Yeah, actually, you should. I shame myself. When I was up 300 pounds, I'm like, man, you are a piece of shit. You need to lose weight. And so don't be telling me you shouldn't fat shame. Yeah, you should, unless you've got a medical problem. Because you can't tell me that a lot of this obesity isn't caused by overeating and the kind of food that they eat. And that's why I've tried to change what I eat, because I don't want to get fat again. I've still got a few pounds to lose, but I'm not bad. I got pretty good body, I think, especially for an old fart. And anyway, so I get tired of people being petty and getting upset about every little thing. It's like, good night. I mean, if you get pissed over every comment, if you get pissed over everything that anybody says that might rub you the wrong way, you're going to live a miserable life. Miserable. Oh, I can say it fast. Miserable life. You will, because you can't let every little thing bother you. You know, you got to develop a thick skin. You've got to, and it's a matter of choice, people. It's a matter of choice. You don't have to be upset. I mean, you may not like it, but you don't have to get all, over every little thing. Deal with it. Learn. I mean, don't worry, be happy. Yeah. Be happy. Don't let other people determine how you feel. Don't be reactionary. Okay? We got a deal? All right. Hope you enjoyed this. Some of you probably didn't enjoy it, but oh well. You don't have to watch. Anyway, I'm going to start ranting about some stuff because there's a lot of things that piss me off. And the only person I have to vent to is Copper. And he just looks at me like, yeah. So I'm venting to y'all. All right. You have a good day.